are a champion. God is my witness. Imperfect perfection, living my mission and winning. See, we are influencers. We have fear but don't stop. I have the confidence to rise to the top. We are standing bolder, shoulder to shoulder. Playtime is over. Playtime is over. All I need is inside of me. I am enough and now I see, yeah. I will reach my destiny, yeah. I don't need your permission, yes, I'm on a mission, I'll win. Oh, 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 yeah. Oh, yeah. Now listen, I want y'all to repeat after me, okay? Cause we're gonna make some declarations in here today. Here we go, 1, 2, 3. I'm building my legacy for the whole world to see. You say, I'm building my legacy for the whole world to see. Say, I'm building my legacy for the whole world to see me. Say, oh, say I'm building my legacy for the whole world to see. You say, we are standing bolder, we're shoulder to shoulder. We are standing bolder, we're shoulder to shoulder. We are standing bolder, shoulder to shoulder. Playtime is over. Playtime is over. Hey, yeah. We have powerful words, we have powerful minds. We use our voices and freedom takes flight. And we're ready to work, we're ready to win. We have a strategy and now we can begin. We are standing bolder, shoulder to shoulder. Playtime is over.
Oh, I'm still making myself up. Hey, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome to Impact the World Radio. My name is Cheryl Wood. I am your host, and I'm super excited to be here. We're in a new year. I'm still saying Happy New Year. Are you still saying
Absolutely saying Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you, especially if you weren't with us last week. We had 2 phenomenal guests, and we have 2 amazing powerhouse women with us today. And every week, what we're going to do is we're going to focus on a specific question. And the question that I posed today when I posted on Facebook was this: what are your, and this means you have to personalize it, so we're sending this out to you as a challenge, really analyzing what are your biggest distractions and or threats from you achieving your goals for 2019. And I'm sure all of you have heard of what we call a SWOT analysis: your strengths, your weaknesses, your opportunities, and your threats. We want you to really focus on what are the things that are either distracting me or can potentially prevent me from getting the thing that I say I want to do. Because I don't know about y'all, but every once in a while, I find myself putting on my list the same thing over and over. And you ever happen to you?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, like
absolutely.
You put on your list something that you put on your list last year,
Yep.
and you find it on your list again this year. So the question is, what distracted me or prevented me from accomplishing it the previous year, so that we don't repeat that? We want to make sure that we analyze what our actions are, what our patterns are, our behaviors, and we want to align with the things that we say we really want. It's about crossing the finish line, not just getting started, but crossing the finish line. I've got to shout out all the amazing folks who are with us here on Facebook Live. We see you, Paula. Thank you for being here. Chantel Teasdale. We see you, Laditra. Welcome. Andrea Crawley, Impact Nation. I see you in the building. Ingrid Love Thomas from Florida. Ingrid is actually one of my premier clients. She'll be with me for a VIP day coming in this Friday from Florida. I can't wait to see you and welcome. She's a part of our Impact Nation. Warda Roman. Greetings from Belgium. Come on now. We
Hey, we're international.
That's international right there.
Yes.
Corey Wilson, we see you. Lisa Tabler, how are you? Welcome. Karonda Fleming, also a part of Impact Nation and one of my premier clients. Welcome. Let's see. Anthony Garnett, thank you. Welcome. Marcia, how are you, sis? Happy New Year. Ty Miles, how are you? Ty says, hey, Cheryl and friends. So she's saying that to all of y'all, everybody.
Hello.
Hey, everybody. Hello. Please take a moment and just share this out. We're going to have some really, really juicy content. We have two phenomenal guests. I'm going to introduce them in just a moment. But we want to make sure that we are reaching as many people as possible. And so please share this out. It only takes like 20 seconds. Hello, Sandra Shaney. Thank you so much for being here. We appreciate you. Okay, so we got to give a shout out to two people before we jump in. Number one, y'all hear that song that we sing every week when we hear Playtime is over? Y'all know that, right? Playtime is really over. We have got to give a huge shout out every week to Tammy Turner, who wrote that song, produced that song, performed that song. She went into the studio and did all of the work so that we could use that for our Playtime is Over Women's Business Conference. And we can't shake it. Like, it's just catchy. It gets you singing. When you really listen to the words, it is about women standing shoulder to shoulder and supporting each other as they're going to their next level. And so we have adopted that as our anthem here at Impact the World Radio. So thank you for your talent and using your unique gift to impact the world, Miss Tammy Turner. And then I also have to give a huge shout out to our partner of this show, Ladrine Peterson. Her company is Do It. Like, literally turning dreamers into doers. She's all about stepping into action and being in movement. You can check her out on Facebook at Ladrine Howard Peterson. And you can also check her out online at do-it.com. I believe that's it. Yeah. And if it's wrong, believe me, she will correct me before the end of the show. Hello. So we want to thank you. Giving a shout out, to Troy Carroll. Good morning, tribe. That's my Impact Nation tribe. They are in the building. Sandra says, hey, ladies, Ruth Lawson is here. Bernadette, another Impact Nation member. Thank you for being here. So my first guest, her name is Dee. Is it Bowden?
It is Bowden.
Okay, I'll be jacking people's names up. You know that, right?
I do know that.
I own my mess. I own my mess.
But listen, we're not going to jack it up today.
We're not going to jack it up. We're going to pronounce it correctly.
We got it.
Dee Bowden.
Yes, ma'am.
So let me tell you who she is. She is an award-winning business consultant and the founder of BCS Solutions. That's a revenue recovery consulting business designed to help small businesses make big money impacts. I like that. Anything that say big money, I like. Yeah, she was recognized by the USCG headquarters and Iramax Inc. in 2016 for returning $7.5 million back to the federal government in 1 year. She has a Bachelor of Science degree from American International College and a Master of Management degree from Cambridge College. In 2018, she served as a digital facilitator at the Success Women's Conference 2018 in Biloxi, Mississippi, and presented the topic, How Secure Is Your Cash Flow? In her personal life, she loves jazz, hot air balloon rides, and Ferris wheels. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Cheryl. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
The hot air balloon rides, we talk about that later. So, how secure is your cash flow? Why is that so important for small business owners? And what is it that you do specifically to help them to keep an eye on their accounts receivables?
Well, first of all, before we even jump into all of that, I want to say thank you for this opportunity. Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year.
Everybody who's watching. Hey, y'all. So we get all that out there.
Hey, y'all.
So, BCS Solutions, how do we actually make sure their cash flow is secure as a business owner? Number one, here's the thing. It kind of starts like this. As a business owner, you're responsible for selling whatever your product or service is. And then once you do that, what people get super excited about, they get, I made all these great sales. But what they forget is that the sale is not complete until the money's actually in the bank. And so I think I'll answer that question if you don't mind by telling a short story.
Sure. We love stories.
Okay. So about 10 plus years ago, I worked for a company called Amherst Technologies. They were a small IT firm that sold IT services, software licenses, etc. I got hired to recover $8.8 million in sales that had been done, but the money wasn't in the bank. So you can imagine, I'm looking at this saying, $8 million in sales? Are you serious? And y'all don't have not collected out a dime? How did that happen? So what happened was basically the sales were done, but the follow-up, which is where I come in, never happened. So they sold the services, but they never collected the money. So in 60 days, I did $6 million.
Wow.
Part-time.
Okay, so but let's pause.
Yes, ma'am.
See, as a small business owner, I don't get that it's sold, but the money ain't in the bank. Like
Right.
that's the first thing I'm checking is my bank account. So how does that happen for a small business owner? How does that happen for any company?
Well, how it happens
A
is...
big company I get,
Right.
but a small business, how does that happen where the sale was made but the money's not there? Unless it's like a net 30 days
Well,
or
here's the
something.
thing.
and you're
What
waiting for
happens?
money.
It happens like this because think about it. You're super excited to sell your product or your service,
Mm-hmm.
so you sell it, and then you go on to the next thing because you're banking on the fact that the transaction went through and that the money's eventually going to show up. So whether you're a small, medium, or large business, I talk about how secure is your cash flow because it's very important for you to recognize number one. Please make your sale. Please sell your brilliance. Definitely do that. But don't forget to also make sure that you should have your state of your flux. You should know how many contracts you have. You should know the amount of invoices that you have. You should know whether this invoice is coming in net 30, net 60, net 90, or 120.
Right.
If you're past 60 days, it ought to be triggering a bell for you to get on the phone and say, hi,
Right.
I'm Dee from
Right.
BCS Solutions. I need to find out what's going on with my invoices. And more importantly, is there a disconnect and how do I fix it so this doesn't happen again? Part of the reasons why a lot of companies have these cash flow issues is because they're not doing the follow-up. They're so excited about the front end, but it's the back end that's what makes it more successful. And that's the piece. That's why I kind of raised the conversation about how secure is your cash flow is because you can sell all day long, but sale is not complete until the money is actually in the bank.
Yeah.
And you know that. And here's the thing. You also need to understand that collections, although most people think about collections in the sense of, oh my gosh, it's like the IRS, somebody's going to break your knees, that kind of stuff. And everybody's trying, this is not that party. I promise y'all.
coming to crack
This
your
is not
knees.
that kind of party. I promise y'all, that's not it. But here's the thing. Collections in the business world is an extension of customer service. That's how I see it.
Did y'all hear that? I like the way you framed that. Repeat that again.
Collection.
Somebody type that in the feed. This is good. Listen
Thank
to
you.
this.
Collections is considered a part of customer service.
It's a part of customer service. When you look at it that way, it really does give it a different angle.
Exactly. And that's what makes it different. And so with that, I'm on a campaign, if you will. And so, of course, again, thanks for this opportunity to share this. But I'm on a campaign to talk about collections, accounts receivable, cash management, cash flow, so that small businesses don't go out of business. So the part of the story I didn't get to finish telling your audience was this. So Amherst Technologies was a small IT firm. They gave me the $8 million to collect. I did 6 in 60 days. We went out of business 2 months before Christmas. CEO comes downstairs and says, hey, y'all, I want to thank you for your service. Appreciate everything you did, but we're done. If you Google them right now, Amherst Technology, Merrimack, New Hampshire, the logo comes up. They are out of business. And from that day to this, I've been on a personal mission to understand collections, government receivables, and to talk to small business owners to not end up like that company. So that was personal for me. It's been personal for me. And that's what drives me to keep talking about, please know the state of your flocks. Please know what's going on with your accounts receivable. Please, not just sell, but make sure your money's coming in the bank. And if you're having disconnects, don't bury your head in the sand. Ask the questions.
Yeah, you guys
ask
hear
the
that?
questions.
Ask the questions. Don't bury your head in the sand. You don't want to run from it just because you don't understand it or it's uncomfortable for you.
Right.
Because a lot of us do view collections in the opposite way, right?
Absolutely.
That it has a negative connotation. But
Exactly.
as you mentioned, it's really just a part of the customer service cycle, making sure that the money makes it to the bank. So I really like that viewpoint of it.
Thank you.
So let me ask this question then.
Sure.
So I get the whole, okay, if it's net 30, net 60, net 90, whatever, and you're making sure that it makes it to the bank. Do you also deal with collections in terms of people who have not remitted their payment?
Absolutely.
And you just, look, I need that payment.
Right.
And do you help small businesses
Absolutely.
from that perspective?
I absolutely do.
So let's start there, and then I have a follow-up question.
Okay. So to the small business community that's listening, yes. Here's the thing. When you sell your product or your service, you're expecting to get paid. You do your presentation, however it goes. You're expecting to do your service, do your product, submit your service, bill, get paid. When you reach your contract, it tells you your invoices should be submitted on a certain time and you should be paid at a certain time. And once it passes that deadline, you should be on the phone asking for what's the disconnect. The disconnect is this. It's usually something happened in sales, something happened in accounts payable, something happened in receivables, or something happened in the contract world. Whether you're a solopreneur, a large corporation, it doesn't matter. It's the same for things that happen all the time. And what I think small businesses are worried about are the relationships, because it takes a lot to get the relationship to actually get the people to buy your product or your service. So you don't, like, for example, if I had come in here and had been like, I'm just on the show, as opposed to, hey, Ms. Cheryl, thank you so much for this opportunity. Thank you for this, et cetera, et cetera. It's a different response. Well, the same thing with the person who does the sale. They're concerned about if I start to, be aggressive about asking you for my money, then it could irritate you, as opposed to you are in business to make money. I don't know what everybody else goes in business for, but I went into business to make money.
Absolutely.
I'm sure you did too.
I didn't call it a charity.
It's
not Cheryl Wood and Powell's charity. No,
it's a business. Exactly.
It's a business,
so I expect to get paid for my service.
Right.
But here's the thing: the relationship that you have to build in order to sell your product or service is important, but also to collect your money is just as important.
Yeah, but I think also that's where you come into play, and,
Right.
and I want to talk about whether or not there might be some business owners who feel like, well, I need the service, but can I really afford to hire someone who is going to collect on behalf of my company? Because let's talk about a solopreneur.
Sure.
A solopreneur who might be a one-woman show, one-man show, and they feel like, oh, I can't afford. But really, when you think about it, you can't afford not to, because
exactly.
you need to collect on the funds, the sales that you have closed.
Right.
So to that person who is thinking, well, I can't, I'm not able to hire this person, hire your company.
Right.
What do you say to that person? Do you have special packages for small businesses versus a company that's making $8 million, $9 million, $10 million or more dollars? I think that's my first question.
All right. So yes, the answer to that, yes, there are. First of all, you can't afford not to get your money. Let's just start there.
Right.
So here's the thing: BCS Solutions offers consulting. We offer packages. We offer. We can do several things. We can do in-house collections if you need help. I can actually train you how to actually effectively collect on your own. Because ideally, my goal is not necessarily have to go do the collections for you. My goal is to teach you how to do it for yourself, so you can do it successfully from here on in.
But I like the fact that they can hire you, because then see here's what I found early on in my business. I had to interrupt the relationship between I'm just a nice woman in business who you feel like is your friend versus look, you need to pay me my money.
Right.
So I had to pull myself out of that whole equation of collection, any type of accounts receivable. I pulled myself out of,
right?
Because people feel more comfortable when they feel like, oh, it's just Cheryl. I can just ask her, oh, can I push my payment back,
right?
Or I'm not gonna have my payment for another 30 days or
right.
60 days. But when they feel like they're working with a company here or a department, here's my accounts receivable department head. They're going to be reaching out to you. Then it removes you from the equation and that uncomfortable feeling of feeling like I'm going to mess up or interfere with relationships. So for me, it's just pulling myself completely out of the money aspect in terms of any type of collection. So in that case, I feel like it would be a benefit, a great benefit to a small business owner.
And to the small business owners that are listening, if you need that service, I mean, I'll give you, of course, I do it now. The website is www.bcsconsultinggrp.com. That's www.bcsconsultinggrp.com. You can schedule an appointment, for a review of your accounts. We can talk about what happened, because basically when you're past 30 or 60 days, that's what I call a disconnect. Because by then you should know what happened. And if you don't know, even though you might be afraid about messing up the relationship, don't be afraid of messing up the relationship. Go get your money. And if you need help, that's where BCS Solutions can help you with. Because we understand how important the relationships are, number one. Number two, we understand that if you're a small business, like let's look at this right now. There's a government shutdown. Yeah. Let's take it where it is. Yeah. There are government shutdown. There are government contractors that are not getting paid, and they're struggling and they're stressed. And so that's where the rubber meets the road about, okay, what do you do when you're not going to get paid? Right. If you're a government contractor, you've got to figure out, okay, I can't build the government. The government's not working. I can't get paid. How am I going to handle this? Well, you've got to be able to figure out, how do I plan for the future right now? Because right now I'm used to getting my money every 30 days. The government says, well, we're 25 days out. Can't promise y'all are getting paid, because they're going to take care of them first. Right. Then the government takes care of the contractors. So the government takes care of the government. Then the government agencies work with the contractors, and the contractors prayerfully will get paid. There's no promise of that, though. Y'all understand that. Even if you are a business, there is no promise that you're going to get paid. So the reason I keep talking about how secure is your cash flow is that you have to be thinking about, okay, if this happens again, what am I going to do? That's serious.
So then, are there certain steps that you feel that you share with small businesses of, like, can you give us one or two steps of things they can do to put themselves on that path of having that secure cash flow now?
Right. Well, the first thing you can do, number one, is you ought to have a list of all your accounts. That would be number one. You should have a list of every account.
Y'all need to be jotting this down, Facebook Live. Come on now.
This down.
Number one. What is number one?
Number one, have a list of all of your accounts. You should know
all your accounts.
Number two, you should have a list of all of your invoices. Number three, you should know how much the invoice is worth. Number four, you should know the salesperson. the person who sold on behalf of your company and the person that you sold it to.
Right.
Why? Because that relationship is very important. People look at collections and they keep thinking, oh, I'm just going to go call up and dial for dollars. No, it's like I said earlier, it's a relationship. And if you're struggling getting your money, if you're a small business, medium or large, it doesn't matter. Somebody is still selling. And that's the thing I want people to understand is that the salesperson has the relationship because they already did the presentation to get you in.
Right.
Your relationship with them is very important. And then, of course, whoever's doing your billing is very important, and the person who's collecting is very important. And don't forget the contracts person because they're the person that holds it all together.
Well, and that brings me to another thought in terms of if you have someone who you have a sales team, right? And then so let's say you didn't collect on whatever the payment was. How does that salesperson collect their commission on something that hasn't been paid? Like, do you address that? Do you deal with